Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be talking about some of the important points I had missed in my part 1 of the MERN stack deployment video, which was some unknown reasons even. I don't know why did I forgot that part. It's actually important also, and also you can't actually do anything without that one. And anyways, this my since I had made a one video which was in between, I left in between, so I have to make a part 2 of it, right? So and I need to explain everything. So anyways, I'll explain here that also, plus including there is a another new thing also and few other questions also. There were many questions asked in that video. I try to answer one by one. Okay. So anyways, right now what happens here is this is my local server here, right? 3000. Okay. Let me open the dashboard. Okay. Okay. Sorry, the server is right now it's off. Let me just start the server here. And you can see, by the way, now my localhost, the server is running at the localhost. Sorry, yeah, the server is front end server is running with the localhost, right? You can see here localhost 8800, which is a I'm connecting to a backend. This was the main point I had forgot to mention. So I'll tell what actually we had to make here. So let me come to the video here. Sorry, website here. So this is a localhost server, and if I go to your dashboard, right, I'm able to fetch the data here, right? Okay, perfect. Now, so this is my localhost 3000, right? This server. So here, if I go to your dashboard, I can see the all the data. So what we had to do here is actually we need to replace this one localhost 8800. Okay. Now the server is running. Even if now if I turn off the server and if I try to refresh the page, no, refresh this fetch the data, it will show error. So I was wrong in there. So for that one, what we need to do is we are getting one link here, right? After the deployment, if I go here to my render and if I search for the yeah, backend or that, yeah, React code. This one was the website for the backend of this one, this project I had deployed here. So what I had to do is I need to copy this thing here, right? Okay, I have copied, and after here, everywhere, wherever you are using this one, right? This one HTTP localhost. Okay, so you need to copy that and paste it here till which is your route. For example, if I paste here like this, so this is the route I got from the render dashboard here, where I have been deployed the backend, right? From there I'm getting this link, and this is the route I provided from my server. Okay, so now if I go and fetch the data here, okay, now if I fetch here, you can see the data are getting fetched, right? Now the server was on. I'll turn it off. The server is on here. I'll turn it off. And if I now go here and if I click on the dashboard, now I'm able to fetch the data because now the server is connected to our deployed backend here. I have already deployed, right? So now the data are fetching from here. Okay, so our database was also connected here, so it can fetch directly from there and you can do all the operations, basically everything from here only. Not just here, you need to I have already changed here, and all if you see here I already changed those things. But in your case you have to change one by one wherever you are using the localhost, right? This one you have to change, replace everything with your uh, link you got in a render. Okay, which you got from the render, right, after deploying your backend. So copy that link and paste in your localhost here. So once you are after pasting that one, now we need to push that code anyways. So I'll just go here and I'll push the code first of all. Git. There are a few changes, and I'll push the code here. Okay, now I have pushed the code. After pushing the code here right now, and if I go to my deploy here, and if I just try to publish, sorry. Okay, now if I go to my site review and if I go here, the new deploy is on the process. It's being deploying automatically. Once you after the click on this one, right? After pushing the code, it will deploy automatically, so you don't have to perform any additional tasks for that. No need to worry, it will deploy. uh, After the deployment, I'll get back to you. Okay, now if I click on this one, okay, my site has been deployed. And now if I click on this preview here, and my deployed site is here. Okay, perfect. Now if I go to proceed, and I can now log in here like usually. Most of you were getting the issue while the logging only, I guess. Or you can see right now here, uh, I'll keep my password here, and you can see the server is also turned off, front end, from the both terminal. This is a backend actually. Okay, I'll just turn it off here. I have turned off the backend also. Now if I go to click on the login, right, you can see the data are getting fetched. So that was a simple one. I had to mention that in the first video, but unfortunately I don't know, for some reason I forgot to mention that one. So anyways, I hope you got it now. Okay, fine, great, perfect. So the second question I was getting the mostly was like, when you're in a page and if you go to any one of the page, for example this about page, and if I refresh this one, I'll be getting one error. You can see like page not found. So for that, what you need to do is, there is a file actually. You need to create a here. You need to create a file here, web.config in your front end here, web.config. You need to create this file. Okay, in this file you need to paste few lines of codes, and it's actually available in our render itself. You can get it from here. If you can't, if you still don't know where to find it, I'll provide in a description. uh, for that particular file itself, you can get access from there, and you can just copy paste it, and that's it. You need to push the code again. Don't forget to push that code including that file. Then again you have to deploy. It will deploy automatically. Just come here, site overview, and you can see the new deploying site here. Just click on that. You can access to the logs if there is any error. After getting any completing everything, you can just click on a preview, and you can just check the access for that one. Okay, yeah, perfect. Now, I was getting asked like, we were deploying our backend in a render, right? So, is there any way we can deploy our front end also in a render itself? So yeah, the thing is we can actually deploy our front end also in render. And right now, I haven't mentioned this one because in few countries like Pakistan and all, maybe people are asked to pay to have the access of this one, I guess. Right now, still, since I am from India, I don't have to pay for this one as a free trial. I don't know for how long, but right now I don't have to pay. And many of the I asked with many of them, and they didn't have to pay. They were not asked to ask the card information also. Just log in, register, and just deploy. That's it. Okay. So, anyways, so if you have access to deploy freely without card information, and by the way, it's a not a big deal also if you want to buy the access also, like if you have already tried this OS and all, it's similar to that only. You don't have to pay anything for that. Yeah, you just need to pay around like 2 rupees, Indian rupees, whichever equivalent to your country balance. Okay, and it will be refunded also probably. I don't remember exactly, but I got to know from my YouTube channel, and that video they were someone was replying to that video. Okay, so yeah, I'm now coming to the second part where we can deploy our front end in render itself. So as you can see, I have deployed my backend in the render, right? This one is my backend. You can, if I go to logs here, let that open. If I show the logs here, right, you can see my database. I'm getting the same message which I'll be getting from a backend here. Same thing, the server is running and database is connected. Okay, so same thing. So like the same thing, we what we had done is the web service, right? So for the front end, we need to go into this static site. Okay, so after going into the static site, just scroll down here, and here you need to paste your this one GitHub repo link, whichever repo you are using, right? You need to paste that repo link here. So right now this is my same project link here, this one. Oh, so I'll be clicking on this continue. Okay, I'll just open the page also here. So if you can Just understand that one. Okay, so this is the same project. You can see I just committed 6 minutes ago. That same thing, minus commit changes from the front end. Okay, so after that, now what we have to do is I have to give a name. You can give anything. I'll give React CRUD 318. Same thing, and I'm in a main branch here. It is already default main, or if you are in a different branch, you can mention that here. Then in a root directory, which is the directory you want to deploy. Right now I have two folders here, right? Front end and back end. So I want to deploy my front end, so I'll be typing a front end. Perfect. So after that, now you have to type a build command. To find this build command, usually the build command will be npm run build only. Npm run build. You can find this in your React project also. Just go to the project and open your front end, and in your package.json file, in the scripts here, you can find a build command here. npm to run this one, usually we'll be using npm run build, it seems. uh, like for a React scripts build, you can type this command here also, or you can just use the normal default functions like npm start, npm run build, npm run test, all these things. So anyways, to the point, npm run build, we'll have to mention that one here. Okay, after that we need to mention a folder which you where you want to deploy the sites, right? Like whatever the files are being built in, it should be saved in a folder. So in netlify, when after we deployed this site, right, after this project, we got a folder here build. So same thing actually, this was made automatically in the netlify. Here we have to mention that folder name. You can give any name. It's a basic to give a build here so that anyone can understand. Just type a build here. Okay, so after that, in advance, if you have any environment variables, like if you know database or secret keys and all, you can just add those things here. And after that, just click on the create site. Okay, sorry, I don't have any environment variables right now, so I'll close and create site. Okay, so that's it. You don't have to make any other things here. It will deploy by itself. You just need to stay for a while. This might take around like 5 to 10 minutes, not a big deal. It's worth waiting. And also, as I mentioned here, we had to give something like when if I go here and I have to, if I refresh the page, I was getting page not found error, right? So there is a easy solution in this render actually. There is no much confusions like need to write a new code for that, nothing like that. With this render, it's much more easier. I'll show how to do that. Let just skip to the until the build is completed. Okay, meanwhile it is deploying. It is taking some time to deploy actually. Okay, anyways, I'll share some important or useful tips for you in our front end when we are deploying or using your projects, right? You know, in future also you can use the same thing. There like I said right now, you need to replace every localhost here, right? Localhost from every wherever you are calling the APIs, Axios, or Fetch, whatever you are using, you need to change everything. So what I used to do is, since this was my first project, this was fine. I was in a learning stage, and anyone, it happens. So what I'm trying to tell here is, uh, once after you learn and you try to build a very much complicated projects, right? There will be many pages and all, so it's difficult to change the URL of every page one by one. First of all, in the dashboard page itself, there are 2 to 3 API calls, I guess. So I have to change everywhere. So the better solution for this one is try to create a separate API folder for that. Okay, so this is my password generator folder. I just created an example of here one. You can just go to client 10. You can see here in my pages here, what I'm doing here is I'm not calling these APIs and all localhost, all those things directly here. I'm just replacing, calling some kind of pages, and inside that I'm passing the ID or inputs, whatever I want. I'll be passing from here, right? So for this one, what I'm doing here is actually, if you go to, if you refer my page here, what I did here is in assets, I created a folder API. In the API, I created a file API URL. These naming conventions are like as what you want, like that itself. No much complications in this one. Like you wanted to create, that's it's fine. What I have done here is I created a variable API URL and I exported that one. Inside this API URL, there is a localhost 8800. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, So the what is the use case of this one? Why did I created this separate file for this one? So the benefit of this one is, like, after the deploying, after your backend is deployed, right? Okay, the site is live anyways. I'll show it later. After your site backend server is getting deployed, you can just replace that one here. For example, I can replace this one. Okay, so I can replace this one like this. I don't have to change in every page. So what happens here is I'm exported this file right in my util folder, in the okay util service. This is where I created a custom, so which where you no need it actually. But what you can do is I have imported that file here, folder file. Okay, after importing, I'm calling the API here, axios.post, and that API URL which I had created here, plus the URL which I'm getting from the every pages here. I'll show, plus the URL which I'm getting the variable. How is the variables are stored in my server variables. So the server, I created a separate file for the server variables, and these are the variables which I got from the backend route which I created, right? Those things I have saved here, and I'm using directly here URL and the inputs. If there is any inputs and all, I'm taking from the front end through the props and passing here, and I can directly make changes. So this is actually benefit, rather than making changes in every page. Once after, if you change here, right, it will take effect of all the APIs and you no need to make anything. Once after making changes here, it will affect to all the pages and it's easy for you also, right? So yeah, this was the information I had to give, thought of telling you, which is a simple one and very useful one also. Okay, so anyways, now let me get into our site here, and you can see it's live here, right? It's deployed. Now if I open this one here, let it open. Okay, the website is loaded successfully and I can go to dashboard because let me log out first. Okay. Yeah. mm, I have been created, the website has been deployed, and now if I click on proceed and click create my user here, creating actually, and if I log in, you can see I'm able to fetch the data, which is actually faster than this one, netlify. I got to know that for many people there is a issue with the delay while fetching or doing any operations from the backend. The response time is taking a lot. So the better alternative for that one is trying this render itself, deploying a render. It is much faster than that one, and also easy also right now. Okay, the issue I mentioned earlier, which is like when you get into the about page and if you refresh the page, you'll be getting a message like not found. Same thing we were getting the netlify also. It's obvious that we'll get that one because we need to have a config file and all for that. So anyways, in this render, we no need actually those files. We can directly create in our websites itself. Our, in the sense, render websites. Okay, you just need to open that deployed site page, and inside that there is option redirect and rewrites. Just open that one and click on add rules. Okay, in add rules, what I'm doing here is, when for any page, this star in the sense for all the pages. If you remember in our JSX file, app.js file, if you're going to any other than any page, no, it is not found page actually. You can make a redirect for this file also, or you can just create any page, and if I click on this one here, right, it will now my destination. I want to, when I click on this refresh from any page, it should be redirect me to the home page. I'll save the changes here. Okay, the changes are saved here, and if I now go back and if I refresh page here, it will refresh from the home page. It's not a big deal. If I go to about page and if I refresh again, you can see I'm not getting an error message. I'll be redirecting to the home page itself. It is a case of any page. If I refresh from here also, it will be redirect me to the home page itself. So like that. Okay, so you need to make changes according to your need. Like for example, if you want to make a about here, and you also need to redirect to the appoint or rewrite. You have both choices. You can select anyone and you can go through that pages when you're refreshing without creating any additional file for that. So yeah, this is it for today's video. In this video I tried to explain you the missing points of the first part, and few additional tips also about the render. And yeah, if you have any other doubts regarding a deployment, you can just connect me through the LinkedIn, or you can comment in the comment section itself. By the way, our website is coming out. It's actually a useful website and a beautiful one. I already created a few works are left on that. There will be many options, like you will be now from now on, from not from this code. Obviously there is no source code for this one, right? So later in future, if you are adding any kind of projects and all, you will be finding our source code in that website itself. And and the good thing about here in that website is, actually we are now having an option called personal one-on-one appointment. So what is this personal one-on-one appointment is, like you need to schedule a date, and we'll check if we are available on that. Not just me, there are other few members also of my team. They will join you, and they will help you in solving the issue. Or it is just a few bucks amount. There's not a It's actually budget friendly also, I know. For a beginners it's not fair to take the amount, but you need to understand that we are also giving our time for you to solve the issue, and you can totally trust on us. For some cases, if we couldn't solve your issue, or if a doubt or anything, we will refund your full amount back. Okay. And there is a cancellation also. If you just want to cancel the appointment before the appointment day, you will be getting a 100% amount of your amount also refund. Okay, so that's okay, that's fine. It's a topic of a later discussion. We'll discuss that those things in some other day. So yeah, this is it for today. I hope you understood the concept of today, of the deployment and all. um, Maybe in some future and someday I'll be explaining the same, how to deploy our MERN project in OS EC2. If you know, it is a famous one. It's a great skill to understand that also, like how to deploy in OS and all. So yeah, that's it for today. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care.